You need a full run of expert for the title. Am I crazy? Or do titles... Maybe this could just be a me thing. But I've felt this way for, like, years. Do titles just, like, not really feel like they matter at all in Destiny 2 anymore? Like, do any of you chilling in the live stream right now, where we film all these live, by the way, twitch.tv/Mactics for all the app sessions, any of y'all, like, actually care about titles these days? Which is interesting, because I definitely cared a lot about titles back in the day. Like, when they first released in, like, Forsaken days, I was all about the titles. Now I do not care about titles at all. Hi, honey. Oh, thank you. Yeah. For that matter, I feel like Destiny has been struggling recently with, like, a lot of its overall progression systems in terms of players, like, really caring about them. You know what I mean? Like, the two main areas that I look for something like that is Guardian ranks, which I feel like no one cares about Guardian ranks at all. And I feel like titles are just kind of... Because here's the thing with titles, which is, in my opinion, why a lot of people feel kind of like they don't... Like, I mean, look at how much I used to care about titles. I got every single one. I was religious about getting every title. I literally have, like, pretty much all the legacy titles. I stopped getting them because I just hit... But I had every single title that was available in the game. And then I just stopped. Because at some point I realized I was like, I can only equip one of these at a time. So, like, ultimately, I'm just going to get one that I like a lot, that I think sounds really cool. Like, I just have Godslayer on from Pantheon. And then on another one of my characters, I think I have Shadow, which was from Season of Opulence days. Because Shadow was actually, like, legitimately hard to get. There was pride in getting Shadow. If you got Shadow back in Season of Opulence, like, you knew, oh my god, you went to war for Shadow. Because you had to have flawless Crown of Sorrow, and you had to have flawless boss runs of all of the heroic menagerie bosses. Aranak, the Ogre. Woo. That was... Hasapico and Pagori, don't get me wrong, they're still difficult. But, oh my god, dude, Aranak, if you played back in Season of Opulence, and you did heroic menagerie, Aranak, the Ogre boss, he was kind of like in the tomb area, you had to flawlessly kill him. No one on your entire team is safe, and if anyone died, you had to reset the entire run, which means you had to go through both the encounters again. It was like I remember killing him for the first time after like 20 attempts, and I was like sprinting around my room screaming like I just won the lottery. So I feel like it's a combination of, like, these days, like, I feel like a lot of, like, the newer modern triumphs don't have... I feel like they're a lot more focused on grind than they are on difficulty. Which makes them feel a lot less... That's not to say that, like, they're not an accomplishment, but they're just... They're a different... They feel like a time-based accomplishment now a lot more than they used to feel like a skill-based accomplishment. And so I feel like they lost their luster for a lot of players in that sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a glorified checklist. I think that's a good way to phrase it. Because I feel like a lot of people just don't care nearly... Now, don't get me wrong. Here and there, like, that's not to say... Like, Kingslayer. Kingslayer is a really cool title. So maybe you don't really care about titles or seals that much. And eventually Bungie releases Kingslayer, and you're like, ooh, Kingslayer sounds really cool. I'll actually go out of my way to get that, right? But I feel like for the majority of the titles, like, a lot of people, like, don't really care about them at all. Like, is anyone really going after, like, Disruptor? I don't even know what that means. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Ghost Rider? Does anyone care? The Gumshoe? Show me a single solitary person in all of Destiny that has the Gumshoe title currently equipped right now. That is your title of choice. You look at all these titles and you're like, yeah, I'm rocking Gumshoe right now. There's no way. Like a lot of them, I want that one. There's no way, you're lying to me. You tell me you want Delver? Some of them are cool. I mean, like, most of them are kind of cool. But like I said, my problem, you can only have one on at a time. Which is kind of like, do you guys think it would fix the problem if you could, like, inspect a Guardian? And, like this scrub right here, whoever this guy is. Wouldn't it be cool if you could inspect someone? And, like, if you went down here, they had, like, a Guardian report card or something like that, and you could see all of their titles. I feel like it's kind of too late to add something like that nowadays, because it would kind of suck for the, like, 100% completionists who have kind of given up on not caring about titles, because, but, like, I mean, you know, honestly, maybe do it anyway. I would certainly, like, I don't know. A Guardian report card is kind of what Guardian rank is supposed to be. Well, that's another problem, right? Is that Guardian ranks just don't mean anything anymore. I mean, anymore. They've really never meant anything, sorry. Because the thing with Guardian rank is, like, it doesn't make any sense for Guardian rank to reset at all. I want to do a little experiment real quick before, because I do want to talk a little bit more about Guardian ranks. Type the number 1 in chat if you look at a player in game and you associate their Guardian rank directly with their skill level, or if you're impressed in any capacity with their Guardian rank whatsoever. Type the number 2 if you literally don't even pay attention to their Guardian rank. 1, if you care about someone's Guardian rank. 2, if you're like, I don't care. Yeah, it's like it's mostly 2s. And I think that's kind of reflected as well by the way. Now, listen, I want to be explicitly clear. That's not to say that there is zero skill associated in any capacity with any Guardian rank, because, like, some of these you do have to do some genuinely challenging stuff. Like, for example, to get to Paragon, I think you have to, like, you have to, like, solo the most recent dungeon. And I think you have to, like, do the most recent master raid or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But my thing is, I suppose, is, well, first of all, why does it reset? Why does it reset? I've always, my favorite comparison to make here, hold up. Flashbang warning. What's the meme I'm looking for? It's like the bell curve meme. Yeah, this one. I don't know quality-wise how this is going to be. That's good. That'll do the trick. This meme right here, I love. So it's like, if this is your Guardian rank right here, and this is your skill level, like your actual skill level. I always think this is the funniest thing. And obviously, this is not applicable to 100% of people, but it's just the general thing that I notice, right? People that start out at the game, they're just getting started, they're just becoming new players, they're always around, like, Guardian rank 5 or 6. Because you blitz through Guardian ranks, like, 1 through 5, and that's just, like, naturally where you get to. Just by existing, you get to Guardian rank 5 or 6, which is also important because then you get the extra loadout slots. I think you get access to certain mods and whatever. And then as you get better at the game and you gain the skill to be able to do more things, once you get in the middle, you hit Guardian rank 10 and 11. Because you're like, oh yeah, finally, the game's teaching me that Guardian ranks are important. I actually want to go out of my way to do Guardian ranks. I care about Guardian ranks. They're like, oh, because the game does teach you very early on, like, Guardian ranks are, like, kind of your guide to getting through the game, right? So once you get here, you're like, you know. But then something happens where after you hit Guardian rank 10 or 11, like 2 or 3 times, and it keeps resetting every single season, you eventually hit a point where you're like, wait, why am I doing all this stuff every single season? When all it does is give me absolutely no reward whatsoever. Maybe it gives you like materials or something like that. I don't know. But you get to a point, once you continue to get better at the game, where you're like, wait, why am I bothering doing all this Guardian rank stuff? I don't care anymore. I'm just going to stay at 6. I think it's so funny. I think the problem's twofold, right? Issue number 1 is that it resets. There is, if you want to make this like an overall progression system that's supposed to be indicative of a player's overall skill level, how many different things in the game they've done, how many like difficult things in the game they've done, you can't have it resetting all the time. This doesn't make any sense. Furthermore, if you want this to be indicative of actual skill level, like you need to get in a little bit of uncomfy territory where Guardian rank 11, or if you make Guardian rank 12 or 13 or 14 or 15, they need to be like stupid hard to achieve. Like, in my mind, let's live in a theoretical world, right, where Bungie introduces Guardian rank 20. You can get up to 20. And I think a really cool way to go about it would be to do something where it's like, okay, say you're a player, and there is 1,000 different things that you can do in Destiny to progress through the Guardian ranks, right? And so by completing 100 or so of those, you get to Guardian rank 6. And a lot of them are going to be like the introductory stuff, the free-to-play player stuff, the new player stuff, the new light stuff like that. And then, let's say you get to that gets you about Guardian rank 5 or 6. And then if you want to get to Guardian rank 10, you have to do like 250 total of the available things. And then to get to Guardian rank 15, you have to do 500 of the available things. And then to get to Guardian rank 20, you need to do all 1,000. You need to do every single thing, nothing left on the table. I think players would genuinely jump for that, assuming it doesn't reset all the time. And I'm talking like, when I say everything, I mean like everything. Like you need to have 10 clears on every single raid. You need to own every single piece of armor and every single weapon from every single raid. You need to have solo flawless to every single available dungeon. You need to have every single craftable available. Like, I'm talking everything, right? I'm talking like Warframe Legendary rank 4 type stuff. Except it's not strictly tied to gear acquisition, it's tied to actual achievements as well, right? And you might be thinking, well, no, Mac, you can't do that, because not everyone's good enough to solo flawless all the dungeons, which means not everyone would be good enough to hit Guardian rank 20, and that's kind of my point. You know what I mean? If you want to have a system that is genuinely indicative of actual skill level, up to the very highest bar imaginable, then like you kind of need to get comfy with the idea of like not every single person is going to be the highest rank. And that's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. As long as it's not used for like elitism and stuff like that. As long as it's not like, oh, you're a Guardian rank 6 and I'm a Guardian rank 20? Okay, I'm gonna bully you then. That's mega lame. Anyone who does that is not worth speaking to in any capacity anyway. But it would be unlike the Destiny community to be elitist, don't worry. Yeah. You know what's also funny about elitism? You know, while we're on the topic talking about Guardian ranks? A big thing I notice is the best of the best players in Destiny, like the truly top tier, the cream of the crop, the people that are soloing raids, the people that are duoing Witness, the people that are duoing Sunder Doctrine contest mode, the people that are genuinely the top of the top, 99% of them, not really elitist or toxic at all. In fact, they love helping other players get into these genuinely difficult, genuinely hard endgame challenges. And the reason they love doing that is because they genuinely love Destiny so much. And you know that they love Destiny so much because why else would they be putting in all these hours into becoming as good at Destiny as humanly possible if they didn't love the game so much, right? And so oftentimes, they love encouraging people to get better at the game. They love encouraging people to try these difficult challenges. They love encouraging people to do this stuff. They don't want to gatekeep these things. They want people to, like, be all about it, right? They're excited at the idea of, like, more people getting into low mans and getting into solo flawlessing and world's first rating and contest mode rating and stuff like that. Because they love the game so much, and they want other people to also experience the game. So that those people also fall in love with it. The people that are toxic, the people that cast elitism, the people that are, like, that bully around scrubs, honestly, are the people that think that they're the top dogs. They're the people that, in their minds, they're the, like, they tell themselves they're the cream of the crop. But they're very fragile and insecure about it. And that's why they bully bad players, is because if they put all of their mental energy and their focus into bullying the bad players, then they don't have to actually focus on themselves and realize, like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not actually as good as, like, there's two ways to feel like you're genuinely incredible at a game, right? Or really anything for that matter. Way number one is to just straight up grind and put as much time and effort and practice into it to become genuinely incredible. Way number two is to find someone worse than you and belittle them. Because if you're so focused on how much worse they are compared to you, it makes you look better. So the best of the best players, they're not usually, there's exceptions obviously, but typically the players that are genuinely the best at Destiny, they're not out here being toxic to casual players, belittling casual players. Because they're just focused on continuing to get better at the game that they love. It's the people that are in their shadow and want to pretend like they're as good as them that focus on belittling the bad players. Because it makes them feel better about themselves. And it kind of makes up for... the truth in their mind where they're like, oh, I know I'm not actually the best of the best. But if I focus on belittling players worse than me, then I can just kind of, like, live in my fantasy world and pretend I'm the best of the best. But I think in any video game, and I feel like I can kind of prove, like, and I'm not suggesting that I'm as good as players like Bog and Zemo and Snazzy. Like, I'm nowhere near those types of dudes. They are head and shoulders above me. Like, they're probably 3 times the player I am. But I feel like I'm pretty good at the game. Like, if I'm allowed to be a little boastful of myself right now. And I feel like I can kind of prove that this is actually the case because I don't spend any of my time trying to, like, put down other players or tell them they're bad or tell them they suck or anything like that. I spend all of my time making build videos and guide videos and doing carries and encouraging other people to do solo flawless and encourage other people to get in contest mode because I love this game so much and I want other people to experience everything it has to offer, including the difficult parts of it, because I want them to love the game as much as I love it because I think there's something here, right? And so, like, I'm secure enough in my own skill level of Destiny that I don't feel the need to put others down to make myself feel better about my skill level. And I think that, like, and that's anything in life, right? That's not just, like, Destiny skill level. When you're truly, like, secure as opposed to being insecure about your skill level or your prowess or anything like that, like, when you're secure in your own abilities, you're never looking to put other people down, you know? If anything, you're looking to raise them up. Or, at the very least, you're just focused on yourself and focused on making yourself better. The only reason you're trying to, like, actively dog other people is, you know, kind of made her point, right? But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things in Destiny that that could be really, really cool long-term progression systems, things like titles and things like Guardian ranks. If Bungie would be a little bit more comfortable with the idea of, like, not everyone has to be the max rank. It's okay to have a rank where, like, only the top 0.1% of players can hit it, or top 0.01%. Like, that's okay. The idea that not every single person can get rank 20 or rank 11 or whatever it is. The idea that there's going to be certain titles that it's going to be extremely difficult for certain people to get. I think that's okay, right? I think it's nice to have those genuinely aspirational titles and aspirational long-term progression systems in your game. But the only way that that works is if us as an entire community and an entire player base are willing to say, you know what, there's going to be certain things in the game that I'm not good enough to acquire, that I'm not good enough to achieve, that I'm not good enough to obtain, and that's okay. That's all right. It's a video game at the end of the day. And I think at the end of the day, us as players, it shouldn't always be our goal to strive for the top. We should always just strive for our personal top. There's a big difference between the peak and our peak. And sometimes, as an individual, your peak is going to be lower than the peak. And that's okay. I play a lot of League of Legends. The highest rank in League of Legends is Challenger. I will never hit Challenger in my entire life. I will never be good enough to hit Challenger. But I got to Diamond, and I'm extremely proud of that. Because I think for my personal skill level, for my, like, where I'm at, you know what I mean? I think Diamond's incredible for me. And I'm not sitting at Diamond looking at Challenger and being like, this is nonsense. The game should be made easier so that I can hit Challenger. It's like, nah, dude. I'm just happy I got to Diamond. I think Destiny could use some stuff like that. Hope you enjoyed the yapping.